Incompris. I don't wanna hurt no anymore. I've been misunderstood. I've been misunderstood, understood. I'm tired of being misunderstood. You swear that you hear what I'm saying, but you don't hear every word. Gotta get this understood. Cause if you don't solve the problem, then I promise you're gonna lose me for good. I don't wanna hurt no anymore. I don't wanna hurt you anymore. But I've been misunderstood. Said I promised that I would do what I could. Then you violated. Do you think I'm a fool? Silly, you wonder what I'ma do. Well, I'm gonna draw the line. I reclaim my time. I know that I'm only on your mind, cause I'm doing fine. Ooh, you got me misunderstood. I don't wanna hurt no anymore. I don't wanna hurt you anymore. But I've been misunderstood. I've been misunderstood. I've been misunderstood, understood. 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 I've been misunderstood. I've been misunderstood. I don't wanna hurt no anymore.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you for coming to view the Just Live podcast. We're going to get the show started in just a bit. Our topic of the day is honor thy toxic mother. Ooh, she said a mother is toxic. Oh no, burn her at the stake. Nope, 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 nope. Because if we keep it 100, if we are 100% honest with ourselves and everyone around us, we know that there are some very toxic mothers out here. And listen. Yes, there are some toxic fathers, but we're not talking about toxic fathers today, are we? Nope. Mother's Day is just a week away. And today we are going to talk about honoring toxic mothers. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? There are some toxic mothers. And so I just want to hear from everyone in the chat. The question for now is, have you ever dealt with a toxic mother? Just want to kind of get an idea of what the room is like right now. Who's in here today weighing in on this conversation? Have you ever dealt with a toxic mother? Oh, you laughing because you already know what it is, right? We're gonna go in today. Let's just But before we even do, let me just Let me go through the chat just a little bit. My beautiful people, I'm so happy to see you here on this Sunday. Happy Sunday, Opulent Jade, one of my regulars. It's so good to see you today. Who else is here with me today? Princess of the Powerful, my moderator. Thank you so much for joining me today. Who else do we have? Thank you very much, Opulent Jade. I worked on it just a little bit. You know, I'm not super tech savvy. Ah, you were singing with me. Thank you, boo. Israel Mills, thank you for joining me, y'all. Israel Mills has a wonderful show. He has a lot of wonderful shows. So, y'all, when you have some time, go check out Israel Mills. Got a lot of things to say. Follow him on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. As my good sis says, music and merch at qsqueensanaa.com. No www. I'm gonna grace you with my music from time to time, and that's where you can find it. That's where you can find it. Yeah, thank you, y'all. Thank you, y'all, for joining me. Shatik, good to see you here today. Thank you, sir. Uh, Listen, Israel Mills, I'm gonna need you to talk about it. Today we're gonna talk about it. Let's be honest. Linda Betts says, not mine. God bless her soul. Miss you so much. I understand. I understand. Thank you for blasting my music. So yeah, all right. So yeah, let's get into it today. Oh, Anthony Taylor. Hey, good to see you too. Anthony Taylor has In the Velvet Room podcast. Y'all, when y'all have some time, go check Anthony Taylor as well. And my producer Jim Savage has a wonderful show as well. All right, y'all see there. We're gonna try to get Israel Mills to 5,000 followers, 5,000 subscribers. I want 5,000 subscribers. What y'all talking about? Ah, Gino, what's good? Good day. Today we are talking about toxic mothers. Honor thy toxic mothers. It might not be what it sounds like. I'm not here to like be on moms' heads or, drag moms through the mud or anything like that. It's the week before Mother's Day. And if we are being honest with ourselves, sometimes our relationships with our moms are not as fruitful as we may want them to be. Sometimes they're not as pleasant as we may want them to be. Sometimes they leave much to be desired. It could be because mothers don't necessarily have a background that allows them to be gentle or kind or nourishing. Sometimes it's because of single motherhood. Single motherhood comes with a ton of responsibility, but not necessarily the gentle approach, that sometimes you need. So what'd she say? Let you be great. You got it. You got it, Israel Mills. You got it. So what we're gonna do today is talk a little bit about how to honor toxic mothers. Ah, y'all didn't see that coming, did you? But that's what we're gonna talk about today. Um, while we take a minute to get into that, I just want to tell my story a little bit because I believe in being a truth teller, and my truth is when I became a mom, I was very young. I was very young. I knew everything, but I knew nothing at the same time. Let me see you raise your hand in the chat if you know what that's like, where you know everything, but you really don't know nothing. I was a very young mom. And so for me, I thought doing my duty, handling my responsibilities, making sure bills were paid, getting all my credentials in school, working these awesome jobs, making sure they had food and really nice clothes. To me, I thought that was what I was supposed to do as a mom. And that was the end of it, right? To me, that was it. There was nothing else, right? But turns out that there's more to it than that, isn't there? Right? There's something about that being able to listen for understanding, um, being able to show your children how to work through obstacles without having to control the outcomes. Because it's not about power and control, is it? It's about connecting and creating safe spaces and being able to have those loving conversations. So, in my transparency, I like to just talk about how I really had a lot of work to do as a mom. I was not the nicest person. You know, it's what I say, and that's it. What you think doesn't matter. What you feel doesn't matter. It does, but not really. It's about what I said, and that's the end of it. And I know there are a lot of people in my show right now who were raised old school, and that's what it is. However, we know now that's not necessarily the best way to raise a kiddo, right? Let me check on my comments. Let me see if I'm stepping on toes at all. I gotta see. I gotta see. I gotta see if y'all feeling where I'm coming from. Ah, you said your rider's ready to hear this. I know that's right. Harrison Spencer Jr., good to see you in the building. Hey, Israel, I got you, man. I got you. All right, so Harrison says it's a discussion that's needed. Okay, all right, all right, all right. Yes, Israel, how to honor toxic mothers, right? Because we all grow up with honor thy mother and father. And if you were raised in Islam, it's you honor your mother 3 times before you even consider honoring your father, right? And then so we hear that, and then some of us are in these circumstances that are like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But before we even get all into it, hit the like button. Wait a minute. 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 Y'all know I gotta do it. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Thank you. Share with your friends and your family. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you, Harrison, for sharing. Would you say sugar and spice goes out the window sometimes? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So you got to dig deep, and you got to come from that space of honor and love and, respect no matter what. And sometimes you feel like you might be being stepped on by that same mama. I got a lot of fellas chiming in, so I think I'm resonating in some ways. Let's see. Straight up, my pops keeps my mom's toxic ways in line. He's an equalizer. Say more about that, Harrison. I know you're pro dad. You're very much pro dad, and I respect that about you and your platform. So I'd love to hear more about that. Now, this is my humble opinion. I've seen a lot of men that have some real deep seated, unresolved issues with women. And there's no excuse for bad behavior, right? There's no excuse for bad behavior, but 9 times out of 10, those behaviors kind of start with a mom somewhere, somehow. You know, he done got punched in the face because he did something she didn't
Bruh.
like, knocked across the room because he didn't listen, called, y'all know the terminology, you ain't shit, your daddy ain't shit, he ain't never. Y'all know that's some toxic traits. And I hear a lot of people that try to make it seem like there's nothing wrong with that
Stop the
behavior,
cap.
but is that really a loving, nurturing environment? I see a lot of young ladies that grow up with a lot of a lot of agitation, agitated space between themselves and their mothers because it feels like hostility. It feels like sometimes jealousy. It feels like um, you're being raised but not necessarily loved on, right? Or made to feel like a human being. And that's that toxicity that I'm talking about. So yeah, so today we're gonna talk about how to honor toxic mothers. I taught y'all how to breathe last week, so I'm gonna give y'all a couple of seconds to kind of sit with that one for a second. Jim Savage says most men act out with emotion because they were raised by their mothers. You know, I can't necessarily disagree with that. I can't necessarily disagree with that. I know some young men who were raised well rounded, but they also were raised with some well rounded moms, who knew what barriers to push, and when to just stop there and just lean into the male supports in their lives. Didn't necessarily have to be a dad, but strong father figures. Some of y'all in my chat know about strong father figures, right? Some of y'all know about that, right? um Cam Fuentes. Hey, Cam Fuentes. If you go back to one of my earlier episodes, I have an episode with Cam Fuentes. Check her out, Kill Fiji, with all her wonderful music. Is that the mother's fault or the father's fault for being absent? Well, here's the thing, right? If the father is absent, who's raising the kiddo? Who's raising the kid? The kid is there with the mom. And although a lot of stuff could have been gained from having the father in the picture, if the mom is the one there doing all the work, implementing all the emotional support or lack thereof, the physical discipline or child abuse, if we're going to keep it a band, right? Who do we blame? Because if the dad is not there, is it still the mom's responsibility to gain the tool? I mean, I know as a young mom, I didn't have a lot of tools. I thought I had the tools. I didn't have a lot of tools. And honestly, looking back at my younger self, sometimes I say I did a horrible job. My children grew up to be amazing. My oldest just graduated from college. Congratulations to you, baby girl. Wait a minute. Hold on. Because y'all know I love these things right here. Hold on. Congratulations. Who just college. And I say as a young mom, if I didn't have a lot of her support from her other family members and her village, I don't know what would have happened. I needed help with those tools. I was a very toxic mom. And again, I believe in being accountable, telling the truth. You tell the truth, shame the devil. Whatever you want to say about it, you got to be honest. Sometimes it's a lack of emotional maturity. Sometimes it's just, you mad, so you taking it out on the kid. But that's toxic. That's toxic. That's toxic. Thank you, y'all, for the congratulations. Yeah, my baby did it. My baby did it. Paulette Bernard, thank you for tuning in with me today. She says it's nobody's fault to me. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Israel Mills says the father being absent doesn't automatically mean that he left. I hear that too. And Jim Savage said sometimes the absence of the father is due to the mother. I mean, that's true in some cases. Like, right. Harrison said it's too long to text an explanation, but I hear you. Thanks. I got you. I got you. So your pops is the equalizer. He keeps that toxicity in check. Okay, cool. It's 3:30. My show is an hour long. This is a lot to cover, and for some people, it might be a lot to unpack. But again, Mother's Day is next weekend, and I'm always about healthy solutions for the community. Always about healthy solutions for the community. Still got some congratulations rolling in. So, all right, Paulette, you said we have to stop placing blame. Well, how would you say we should address it? If it's not blame, what would you say that it should be? How do you hold people accountable? Not to blame, but to say, okay, this is the root cause. So we're acknowledging it at the root, and this is how we fix it. I would love to hear more from you about that. But this would be the first way to honor a toxic mom. You, I'm gonna put it back up there. It went away too fast. Y'all know I'm not super tech savvy, but here we go again. Accept her humanity, acknowledge her mistakes, avoid judging her mistakes. Accept her humanity. She's a person, just like you're a person. Acknowledge her mistakes. She may not always get it right. And if you're perfect, I'm not perfect. All right. And stop judging her mistakes or avoid judging her mistakes. She's a person. So judging her mistakes does not fix it, doesn't help it, doesn't heal it. In fact, it might add gasoline on it. Perhaps she's doing the best that she can. Perhaps she doesn't want to do better. Perhaps she doesn't know that there's a better to do. Perhaps she's doing better than her mom did. So to her, she's a great mom. Perhaps if you acknowledge what's done without the judgment, it might give you a different perspective on how to deal with that toxicity from your mom. I don't know how y'all feel about that one. Let me know how you feel about that one. Uh, Jim Savage says, that's the problem. Nobody gets held accountable. Israel Mills says, sometimes it's the women just being stressed and worn out and don't know how to process everything going on. I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, that's real. That's real. That's real. Because life will try you, and then you'll come home after you're breaking your back, you know, doing your duties, your responsibilities, and then them children, I can't even get the words out because boy, them children, they'll try you after that, and you still got to try to figure it out and keep it together. And Paulette says, now flip that. What if that man was stressed? Oh, we gonna get into it for Father's Day. Don't worry about it. We gonna do it. Go ahead and subscribe to Jim Savage at youtube.com, our producer, Jim Savage. Don't forget to go check in with Israel Mills and subscribe to Israel Mills as well. And Anthony Hollywood um, in the Velvet Room podcast. I'm sorry, y'all talking about a lot in this chat. You said you're far from perfect. Yeah, we don't have it all together, right? But we definitely want to try our best to use the tools that are out there because no, you're not born with the tools. And when you have your child, they don't pop out with the manual. We know they don't pop out with the manual, but there are so many tools today that weren't even available when I was a child. So, in my opinion, my personal opinion, there's no excuse. Subscribe to Harrison Spencer. And Harrison, if you have a better link, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Paulette Bernard says, deal with the cards dealt and use good judgment. I feel you on that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We got some bills to pay. Go and hit the cash app. Go and hit the cash app. Eugene Penn says, what healing process can I use with the toxic mom? So yeah, so we went through step one. And for those who missed it, I'm gonna go on and drop it again. Step one, accept her humanity, acknowledge her mistakes, avoid judging her mistakes. Step two, be the change. Conduct a self assessment. Do not remain stuck in bad behavior. Do not excuse your bad behavior. So, what does that mean? It means if you want to see a toxic mom do something a little different, maybe you can model something different. And that's not always easy. You know, you got a mama that's flipping and spazzing all the time, or, you know, a mom that's playing on your sensitivities, doesn't respect your boundaries and stuff like that. Maybe it's easy to kind of fall into that same bad behavior with that mom. Maybe it's a cycle that y'all have built over time. I gotta sip a little tea on that one. Maybe it's a cycle that has evolved over time because this is what it is and this is what it's always been. And so nobody knows how to say, you know what? Mm-mm, pump brakes. Let's stop here. Let's recalibrate. I'm getting off this ride no matter what you do. I'm going to put it back up there. Be the change. Conduct a self assessment. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my mama, but maybe it's me too. Maybe I'm feeding this monster. How am I causing the problem? What am I doing? And how can I fix it? Do not remain stuck in bad behavior. I talked last week about being emotionally immature and flipping and spazzing every time something doesn't work out. And I know personally, listen, y'all, I might lose some subscribers, but again, I believe in being honest. I have flipped out on my mama from time to time in the past. My mama will concur, but that's not who Sanaa is today because A, there's an emotional maturity, and B, there's what am I doing to make this worse? If I'm flipping out on my mama, I'm not solving the problem at all. At all. And finally, do not excuse your bad behavior. Oh, she made me mad. Oh, she didn't give me money when she said she would. Oh, she didn't pay me back. Oh, I don't like the way she talks to me. Oh, she doesn't respect me as an adult. She doesn't respect my boundaries with my children. Whatever it is, it does not excuse bad behavior. That's your mama. Because no matter how good or bad your relationship is, that woman carried you, went through God knows what, bone loss, calcium deficiency, losing the side teeth, whatever it is, hair fell out, hair grew too fast, heartburn, weight gain, weight loss, right? And then pushing the baby out, all the bones then separated. And and then you came into the world, and that's probably the most dangerous process, giving birth to a child. And that's what your mother did. And no, she didn't have to. I think it's funny when people say she didn't have to have me, but she did, and here you are. How ungrateful. You got to work through your stuff and just find, you got to find a way. And there are ways to, deal with parents that just can't be dealt with too. But I'm going to visit my chat because we got a little more, but I don't want to go too far. Let's see. Oh, y'all been talking. That's funny. And Paulette did say, what if the father was stressed out? And so the men went ahead and said, the conversations about women. And yeah, it is because on Father's Day weekend, we gonna definitely talk about the men. All right, let's see. Cam Fuentes said, notice the aspects of your mom that hurt you. Where do those aspects show up within you? Love those aspects within yourself. So it sounds like loving yourself into a different space from the hurt that may have been caused by your mom. That's really insightful. Heavy says, why are we blaming our mother for what we decide to do in life? As kids, we don't listen and think we know it all. That's true. I don't think that justifies a mom maybe hitting you upside the head with the pot or grabbing anything she could find to discipline you versus having a conversation to kind of dig deep. You know what I mean? Princess says, maybe I'm the problem. You have to be honest with yourself and get help. Absolutely. I needed all the parenting manuals when raising my older children. I did. And didn't listen to my mama either. Probably could have been way easier had I listened to my mama. Welcome back, Harrison. Cam Fuentes says that also only goes so far with narcissistic mothers as well. It can go fall into victim blaming. Yeah. Princess, you quoting me from last week. Woo sa so I don't whoop ass. Listen, that's real. Take some deep breaths on that one. Take some deep breaths on that one. Um, Now this I have not heard of, Israel Mills. Can you drop a link so we can all look into what that means? Cam Fuentes, if you want to give some insight into what that is as well, that would be awesome. Yeah, y'all go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that like button, subscribe, share with all your friends. All right. Eugene Penn says, what I realize is before we try to help our moms, we need to help ourselves. I mean, listen, because it has to start with you, self, family, then community, right? You know what that is. That's the Kofi way. All right. And for those of you who are not aware, Kofi is community, organizing, and family issues. Very important. Does help build community. Just one model, but very effective. All right. Third suggestion, pray for your mama. Pray for your mama. How many of y'all just say, Lord, help her? Dear God, please help my mama. Lord, just keep that woman. Help me deal with my mama, Lord. Please help me deal with my mama. How many of y'all pray for your mama? Or when you meditate, how many of y'all think balance in your mama's direction? And if you don't believe in God, how many of y'all just send positive thoughts towards your mom? And if you believe in just the universe, how many of you just wish the most universal good on your mother? especially the ones who haven't had the most healthy, balanced relationships with your mom. How many of you can honestly say you've done that? Allow space for a change of heart, meaning make some room. Don't be so hard pressed against your mother. Just, I'm not gonna like this woman no matter what. She did too much. Too much damage has been done. I'm not gonna have it anymore. How y'all feel about that one? How y'all feel about that one? Harrison says, I respect, love, and honor my mother, but there is mother manipulation. But it also takes us as men uh, take on those acts, ways, etc. too. Are you saying you take on the manipulation tactics of your mom? Is that what you're saying? I got you. Cam, listen to what you referred to earlier. This right here. You said listen to it while you're asleep. It's very powerful. Got you. All right. What, Paulette? You pray for your mama in a good way? You too, Princessa? I was waiting to hear from the fellas. Uh, Cam says, I do, but not because my mom is toxic, but because I know she needs help. That's very sweet. All right, Princessa, thank you. Trying to get some bills paid in here. $500. It's all appreciated. Yes, it is. Y'all go hit that cash app. I don't have nothing for that cash app up here, but go hit that cash app. Y'all say y'all support me. Go hit that cash app. Look, I'm gonna take a second. I'm gonna take a second. And the reason I'm gonna take a second is because this should be going across the screen right now. Also, as a reminder, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Share, subscribe, tell all your friends about it. It could be a heavy discussion for some people. I also realize that, this Mother's Day, there are some moms that are not with us. So, rest in peace to the moms that are not here with us. Some of us wish that, we could go back and just hug our mom's neck and none of those other things even matter, you know. And I understand that. So I want to hold space for that as well. And some of us mothers, wish we could go back and do it a little bit differently, and some mothers believe that they did everything right and there's no room for correction or improvement. And those I keep in prayer because the human experience is a daily growth process, or I believe it should be. That's my opinion. And in the human experience, we don't have all the answers. We don't. We're learning and growing every day. We're learning and growing every day. Cam Fuentes said it's not because her mom is toxic, but she knows her mom needs help. But for some other people, she may be toxic because she needs help. So we're going to move on to the next one. We went through a couple. I'm going to skate through them again. We talked about accepting her humanity, acknowledging her mistakes, avoiding judging her mistakes. We talked about being the change, doing a self assessment, don't remain stuck at the bad behavior, and do not excuse your bad behavior. You still have to be the best you that you can be. I say this all the time. We talked about praying for your mama and allowing space for a change of heart, just opening your heart, to feel something different for that human being having a human experience, right? So, what's number four? Number four is, let's see. Ooh, ooh. How many of y'all, and let's just be honest, how many of y'all struggle with forgiveness? Forgiveness for me has been a thorn in my side. I just got to keep it honest. I've not always been good at forgiving, like not holding on to stuff, not having resentment. And it's really important. What is that they say? Um, Not forgiving people is like you drinking poison and expecting the other person to fall over. It's most likely not going to happen that way unless osmosis, but then how? I won't even get into it, but forgive her. What's to say? Develop realistic expectations. Maybe you expect too much out of this human being. You want to see this, and they're capable of this. They're still human. Mothers are still human. If your mother is an addict and she's not even in a space to acknowledge that she's an addict, but you're expecting her to be clean and sober, you expecting this, and she has this. That's the tool she has right now. If your mom hasn't learned how to cook a 7-course meal, if your mom is still making boxed macaroni and cheese at 60 years old, it is what it is. I am being funny, for real. I am. I am being funny. But for real, if your mom is making boxed macaroni and cheese at 60 years old, I'm not judging your mama, I promise. Set realistic expectations. Stop expecting a Lamborghini when your mom has Plymouth capabilities. And that's not to shame anyone or judge anyone or down anyone. But a lot of times we build up what we would like to see in our minds, and we're not even coming with that. In this case, we're talking about moms. Let her be a human being. Chat, what say you? What say you? Say you. Y'all having a side conversation about it? Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. It says, yeah. Sometimes I pray for people for my own sanity. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Gotta do it. But pray for your mama. You never know what your mama might be going through if she's here with us. What you say, Shatik? I hold grudges for life. That's hilarious and very toxic. But I appreciate you saying that's an area that you need to grow. I really do. That's important to know because it at least opens up the door for you to work on it. Cam Fuentes said, how does one apply these practices to extended family like grandparents, aunts, uncles, step parents, etc.? Do you have any advice for coping with the pain of having family members that refuse to see the pain that they cause or their wrongs? It is a lonely and painful experience. Indeed, it is. So that brings me to number 5. This is how you cope with that. Let me take this off. Sorry, y'all. Love her from your safe space. Leave an abusive situation. Get healing for the damage done. Consider some distance. Let's start with love her from your safe space. What does that mean? Sipping more tea on this one. What does it mean to love your mom from your safe space? Anyone, anybody, anybody, not just a mama. But in this case, we're talking about a mom. How do you love your mom from your safe space? Anybody in the chat? Anybody. The way you love your mom from your safe space is you stay away. As hurtful as that may sound, as hurtful as that may seem, as hurtful as that may be, you got to protect your energy. And if you are a parent who has to be at 100% for your children, you absolutely have to protect your energy because them kids are going to try you too. The difference is you are responsible for them kids. I'm not talking about grown kids. Grown kids, send them on, block them if you need to. Look, don't block your kids, but if you got to block your kids, block your kids. Love them from your safe space. You have to protect you. That's 100% important, in my opinion, right? Leave an abusive situation. Y'all, y'all, if every time you talk to your mama, she calls you everything but a child of God, is does that feel good? Does that grow you as a human being? Does that pour into you as a person? Is that love? Is that kindness? Is it respect? Do you ought to be respected as a human being? Or you don't ought to be respected because that's your mom? Tell me. I want to know. I want to know. If it's abusive, walk away. Hey, Scum TV, thank you for stopping through. Always good to see you here. If it's abusive, you don't have to deal with that. I'm sorry. There are ways to try to cope and be okay enough to have a healthy relationship with your mom. And some people, some of y'all in the chat may agree, are too far gone for that. Get healing for the damage that was done. Get healing. How do you do that? You could go to therapy, learn how to do some yoga, and get you a journal, write it all down, get it out, don't hold on to it. And try your best not to eat your feelings. Sipping tea on that one. So you got to work through that damage. You can't walk around with that because what happens is, as a parent, if you have children, you take that and you transfer it to your children. You either took somebody's toxicity, made it your own, became the toxic, and took it and passed it on to somebody else. And now it's a whole nother other cycle. We're talking about cycles. But it's time out for cycles. It's time to break generational curses. It's time to shut that down. Stop it. No more toxic moms. Listen, I understand mom's been through stuff. I've been through a lot, but if I turn around and I take all that out on my children and then my children grow up to be a problem, that's on me. I have a responsibility to be the best me I can be no matter what. This is not about points and fingers. This is not about guilt tripping people. This is not about blaming people. This is about showing up as your best self every day. You had a bad day. That does not mean knock the wind out of your kid. It does not mean beat the snot out of your daughter because she did something that you didn't approve of. Why? Why did she do something you didn't approve of? What happened? What? What was the root cause of that? Coming back to my chat real quick. Any advice for the guilt tripping that follows? Me personally, I don't know. I might not answer the phone if I feel and this is hypothetical, mom. I might not answer the phone if if it pushes beyond my boundaries because I have very firm boundaries. But if I don't set firm boundaries, then I can't teach my children how to set boundaries either. And if I don't set boundaries with those who I love, my mother, my father, then I can't set boundaries with people I don't love. because it has to start at home. It has to start at home. That's where you get it from. Y'all hit that like button, and of course, y'all see that Cash App. If this information is valuable to you or you believe it's of value to someone in your life, go hit the Cash App, make a donation. Shatik said, I was raised by a woman to be a playboy and was called a no good nigga when I became one. Interesting. I'd just love to hear from you. How did you overcome that? How did you get past how you were raised, how you were berated for who you became, and then who you are now? What did you do? Like, where'd you get your tools from? Was it other women in your life? Was it your mom as well? Um, but those are the tools. So let's get back to number 5 real quick. The last part is consider some distance. Look, it's not me, it's you. This isn't working out. You need a little space. I'm going to give it to you. I'll be back next Neverary. Like, McYan, do it. It's not working out. Hard stop. Pump brakes. Number blocked. I do know people that block their parents. I also know parents that don't stop. I know parents that call all the way into the wee hours of the morning because they believe they are entitled to that space. I know parents, moms, we're talking about moms. I'm not even talking about dads. I know moms that do not stop. I know moms that pull up and beat down your door, whether you're taking a nap, online working, in the middle of a conference, trying to put your kids to sleep, just taking some space for yourself, beat down the door so they could say, I'm going to say what I got to say. You're going to listen to what I have to say. You don't ignore my phone calls. Don't nothing come before me. Well, some things come before you, moms. Some things have to come before you, moms. And that's okay. Because if you're not a toxic mom, then you understand that all that stuff I just said is not okay. And if you're a non toxic mom and you had a bad day, forgive yourself. It's okay. You're a human being, but please don't do that anymore ever again to anybody because that's not okay. Whether you're a young mom or an old mom, it's okay to respect people. It's okay to respect people's boundaries. It's okay to, feel what you feel and still handle it in an emotionally mature way. Emotional maturity goes a long way. It's okay to forgive your own mom for those toxic traits that maybe she instilled in you, that maybe you passed on because you believe this is how it's done. Maybe it's hard to embrace that it's a better way to do things, and that's okay too. You're human. But don't forget that the human experience is about growing and learning and becoming the best you that you can be. It's not me, it's you. It's not me, it's you. Yes, yes, Cam. People view their children as property, not human beings. That's my child. I knock my kid across the room if I want to. Well, maybe you knock your kid the wrong way and your kid ends up with brain damage. It's okay, that's your child. It's okay to do that. Maybe you hit your son so much, you know, punching on him so much that maybe he thinks it's okay to just punch on women because you know what? I'm sick of it. You're not going to punk me like my mama did. That's okay. It's your child. Do what you want. Well, some people believe God gave you that child. And if that's true, then you're a steward over that child. But you do not own that child. And if you're a steward over that child, you absolutely want to be. I'm beating up my microphone. I got it. I got passionate. You want to be a good steward over that child. You want to do your best. You want to raise a well rounded human being. Oh, thank you. Tell her by a song. I would appreciate it. Yes, y'all. Go back and listen to some of my other shows. Listen, I'm touching on a lot of things I've talked about in previous shows: emotional maturity, healthy communication, love languages. Moms, how many of you have ever talked to your children and found out what their love languages are? How many of you have ever uh, let your children know what your love language is so that instead of having an expectation that they do all of this stuff, they now know actually what it is that makes you tick, right? Some of it is just about communication. Maybe the only toxic trait is that y'all don't communicate with each other. Nobody really knows what's going on. It's just a bunch of stuff happening, a cacophony of stuff, just stuff. Maybe you never learned what child abuse actually is. And maybe you don't realize that it's different from state to state to state. You just doing what your mama did, what your mama's mama did, what your mama's mama did, and that's how it's always been. But if you go far enough back, some of them were actually enslaved, and lashings and beatings were a part of the everyday lifestyle. So it made sense that that's what you did. You didn't have conversations with your kid. You beat the snot out of your kid because you didn't want master to be the one to hurt your kid, right? 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 But at what point does that become toxic? At what point is it, let's let that go, put that down, walk away from that behavior and find something different? What works? A conversation works. A conversation works. Shout out to Foaming Out the Mouth podcast. Thank you for coming through today. Foaming Out the Mouth podcast also has a wonderful show. You all go back and check that out when you have a chance. Spread lipstick vibes. Thank you for popping through today. Good to see you here. Good afternoon. All right. So we're going to go back through all five real quick because we about at time right now. You know, y'all know it goes by real fast, especially when y'all keep that chat popping, which I truly appreciate. If you have not already, please, 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 it is very important. Hit that like button, subscribe, share with all your friends, share with all your friends. All right. Talk about toxic mothers. That's a good conversation piece for next Sunday. See how many people clear the table. Somebody might flip the table. I don't know. I don't condone violence. I'm just saying. Accept her humanity, acknowledge her mistakes, avoid judging her mistakes. Be the change, conduct the self assessment. Do not remain stuck in bad behavior. Do not excuse your bad behavior. Pray for her, allow space for a change of heart. Forgive her, develop realistic expectations, resolve resentment. Love her from your safe space, leave an abusive situation, get healing for the damage done, consider some distance. It's not me, it's you, sis. I love you. I gotta go. We may or may not talk about it later. Depends on how much damage was done. That's fair to you. That's fair to you. What say you in the chat? What say you in the chat? My mom's was getting at your dad about being more emotionally visible and supportive. My pops said, I never saw my dad hug his wife or say, I love you. Yes, that learned behavior, right? He not an excuse, but he was implying cultural influences and perceptions. The provider type, not really the openly emotional type. I appreciate you saying that, Harrison, because also Harrison is a social worker, y'all, so he's really like deep in that space. But also, what I realize is that, and I said it a couple times before, a lot of times what a mom is going through or lacking, or having challenges in, she does sometimes turn around and take that out on the kids or project that onto the kids. It's just the facts. It's unfortunate, but it happens. But look, y'all have been so entertaining in my chat. I truly appreciate you. I love all of y'all for showing up religiously. I love that. Um, I appreciate you always supporting me, and thank you for all the cash apps that have come through. Uh, let's see. Y'all know what's next. How will you just live? Me, myself, after all of the ways that I learned to honor a toxic mother, I will just live by appreciating that my mother is a person who learns and grows and evolves every day. I love you, mama. I am going to just live by making sure that I do a self awareness check, making sure that I'm not a toxic mother and passing toxic traits onto my children, checking in, just doing a litmus test, not letting my children run me, but making sure that they feel loved, honored, and respected as human beings, the same way I want to be loved, honored, and respected as their mom. Checking in with my mom, making sure that I'm not the problem because we're human. And sometimes it's us, not them, but sometimes it's them. I will just live by calling out bad behavior when I see it, when I hear about it, because how are we going to change if nobody's willing to pull our collar? That's how I'm going to just live. What say you, chat? What say you, chat? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Harrison said, I told my mama in 2021 we should and I will not argue about some things to her face. And since then, no problems or issues. That's right. Set your boundaries respectfully. I'm not saying go disrespect your mama. I'll never tell you disrespect your mama, you know? But I'm gonna always tell you to set healthy boundaries, stand up for yourself, advocate for yourself. If you have young people, teach your young people how to advocate for themselves, and that's just how it's gonna go. But most of all, I'm just gonna tell you happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Send this show to your mom. If she's a toxic mom, she might hit you with a shoe. I don't know. If she's a mom that's willing to learn and grow, maybe she'll get a lot out of this episode. I really hope so. Whatever it is, just help me spread the word. Help me talk to some people. Help me help our people get better. Help me help our people learn and grow. It has to start with somebody, right? And like I said, the Kofi way is self, family, community. It's how we grow. We pull the collar, we put a bug in your ear, however you want to say it. You just let people know. And they can evaluate it and they might not listen to you today. They might not listen to you tomorrow. But that voice that she put in their ear is going to come back up. And whether it's for them or someone that they know, they're going to spread the word. They're going to pass it on. And we're going to grow as a people. That's my goal. That's my goal. It doesn't have to be your goal. It's my goal. So I'm going to continue to pull collars, call out bad behavior, speak the truth, teach those up and coming along that there's a better way to do things. I appreciate all y'all for coming out. Thank you so much. This has been the Just Live podcast. Listen, shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all for coming to see me today. Just Live podcast. Tell your friends. Hit the Cash App. And I will see y'all. Maybe I won't see you. It's Mother's Day. But I'll see y'all next week. Take care. I'm gonna get it together. I'm just being in love. 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 When I met you, I didn't care about love. Didn't think that I would ever fall in love. Didn't know that we were so compatible. Simple, letting go. Oh, what I'm here on the edge of heart. I'm not alone, it tears apart, it tears apart. No, they don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. Oh, we both know what it takes. We both know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes. They don't know what it takes to be in love. They don't know what it takes to be in love. Oh, we both know what it takes. We both know what it takes to be in love. I'm gonna be in love. This is something I can't control it. How you feeling? I just can't call it. I just know how I feel inside. I got love on my mind. You know that I just adore you, and you know that I'll come before you. I just know how you feel inside. I got love on my mind. I'm just being in love. 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 I'm just being in love.